Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this new appointment of the 1 Hour with Europe webinar series. Today, we are talking about a tool that is existing since 15 years in the European context related to funding research, innovation, and education. But in this case, we are talking more about the latter two. So today the argument is the European Institute of Technology, and we have the pleasure to have with us Luca Perego, which is head of unit of the innovation and the IT in DG Education and Culture, correct?
Youth, Sport and Culture.
Youth, Sport and Culture, thank you, because you always change this acronym. You say it's always very difficult to stay behind the commission, I would say. You're very acronym creators. So, Luca, thank you very much today to be with us. I would like just to remember to our audience that as of habit, Luca will give us an introductory presentation to warm up the system. And then as soon as he ends, we will have the possibility to allow you to challenge him on any question you would like to put. I don't know if we are going to receive any answer you would like to receive because, you know, the situation today is very dynamic, I would say, but let's do our best. Let's enjoy this hour together. So, Luca, I know you prepared the presentation to give us a bit of overview about where we are, what is EIT, where we are going, and then let's see what we are going to get today in terms of exchange. So I suspect the slides are on. Yes. Let's see. It works. Yes, here we are.
So thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me. It's really a pleasure and a nice opportunity to explain what the European Institute of Innovation and Technology is and also how it works. So we can go with, again, maybe we can start with my unit, which is indeed the innovation unit in the Directorate General, Education, Youth, Sport and Culture. You may ask why there is an innovation unit in the Directorate General for Education. And it is because we believe that innovation is very relevant also in the education context. And the reference to the EIT is because there is indeed this instrument which is doing a lot into education and innovation. Next slide, please. So first of all, what is the EIT? The EIT is an instrument into the Horizon Europe program, which is already something very important to know. I believe the audience knows very well this slide, so I'm not going to go into much in details. However, please let me underline that having the Horizon Europe program, 3 pillars, one on excellent science, one on global challenges, and one on innovative Europe on innovation, European Institute of Innovation Technology is one of the 3 tools of the Innovative Europe pillar. The other ones are the very well-known European Innovation Council and the European Innovation Ecosystem, which is a program embedded into Horizon Europe. Next slide, please. So what is the European Institute of Innovation Technology? We can continue clicking. Here it is. It is an independent EU body. It is not an executive agency like the European Innovation Council, for example. It is an independent body with its own regulation, and it has also a strategic innovation agenda. Both the EIT regulation and the EIT strategic innovation agenda have been negotiated and agreed with the co-legislators, with the European Parliament and the European Council. It has, contrary to an executive agency, it has its own independent governing board, which is and the EIT is supervised by the European Commission. I will go later more in details about the supervision of the European Commission on an independent EU body. And what is aiming to do, the EIT is aiming to foster innovation by bringing together business, research, and academia partners, the so-called knowledge triangle. And this is done through the so-called knowledge innovation communities, KICs. I think some of you have heard about it. So what is very important to bear in mind is that those knowledge innovation communities aim to build, to create innovation, to foster innovation through partners of business, research, and academia players. And as I said, it is part of Horizon Europe with a budget in the current multi-annual financial framework of 3 billion. Next slide, please. And now, here we go. What are the knowledge innovation communities? They are large-scale partnerships, let me say private partnerships. They are private entities created after a call done by the EIT, and those large-scale partnerships bring together, as I said, education institutions, research organizations, and business sector. Why they bring them together? Again, to foster innovation. This is what a KIC is requested to do, to foster innovation. There are several KICs. I will list them shortly, but each of them is dedicated to a different societal challenge. And each KIC has its own legal entity, its own management team and governance structure, and also its own strategy, which must be agreed with the EIT, but you may expect they have different strategies. And the KICs we will see have, they're very active on the ground. They have a so-called place-based approach. So each KIC, this is the model, has also a strong presence on the ground with several offices around the EU, but also beyond the EU. I'm thinking the neighboring countries. The KICs, this is also something which has been agreed with the co-legislators, are European partnerships under Horizon Europe. For those who are familiar with Horizon Europe, there are several different European partnerships. One of them are the institutionalized European partnerships, and the KICs are part of them. The business model of the KICs is different. Every KIC is free to define its own business model. However, we will see later the EIT regulation, the strategic innovation agenda of the EIT foresee the concept of achieving financial stability. So we want those KICs to become independent after having been funded by the EIT. And so whatever is the business model, there must be a very strong focus on achieving this financial stability. Next slide, please. So which are the KICs? I guess the audience know, but important to know, there are at the moment 9 KICs. 3 were created in 2010, and they are Climate KIC, EIT Digital, and InnoEnergy. Then the so-called second wave, so the new KICs were launched also in 2015. They were EIT Health and EIT Raw Materials. And then in 2017, we got EIT Food, 2019, EIT Urban Mobility and EIT Manufacturing. And recently, the EIT Culture and Creativity has been launched in 2023. Let me say something that I usually repeat when I meet stakeholders. The EIT is an independent EU body. It's based in Budapest, by the way, and it is a kind of agency, but it is not really an agency. It is, anyway, a granting machinery. While the KICs, even if they have the EIT mentioned in their names, are private entities. They're beneficiaries, okay? They are independent entities, EIT funded, EU funded, but they are independent entities with, as I said before, their own legal entity, their own management, their own strategy. It is worth mentioning, because there is a lot of attention at the moment, that the 10th KIC is foreseen to be launched in 2026. It is called, it is a KIC on water, marine, and maritime. And there is the call ongoing at the moment. The next slide, where I give more details on this water KIC. So here we are. The strategic innovation agenda of the EIT foresees a new KIC to be launched and with a call to be done this year. It is a KIC on water, marine, and maritime. There was the request to do an ex-ante analysis last year to confirm the relevance of this topic. The Commission has done this analysis, and it confirmed the relevance of water, marine, and maritime sector, and the importance to have a KIC operating on this. Last year, and also this year, some promotion activities have been done to raise attention on the upcoming calls for proposals. which has been published 2 months ago, beginning of 2025. So we were really on time because it was requested to launch the call in 2025 and it has been launched at the beginning. The call is open until mid of June of this year. And we may expect that the EIT governing board will decide on the best proposal late this year, because next year already we expect that the selected consortia of the call will start its operation, and indeed in 2026 the consortia awarded will have to set up the legal entity, which I was referring to, define in detail the strategic agenda, hire a management team, set up its governance structure. I mean, it takes a while to do all this. And of course, also starting from the network of partners who are behind the proposal, they may also seek for other partners in the KIC. So 1 year with some EU funds to start up and set up the KIC. And in 2027, we expect that the KIC will start its operations with a substantial grant, which I can't say now what is the entity because it's going to be a decision of the governing board. But if you look back on what the other KICs got for the startup phase and for the first year of operations, you may have the magnitude. Next slide, please. So what are the KICs supposed to do? I said they are aiming to foster innovation in the European Union and by partnering also with third countries. And how do they do so? So as I said, each KIC has its strategic agenda and it has its own approach to foster innovation by bringing together education, research, and business. However, we have seen in the past that when it comes to innovation, the idea is really literally to put together the knowledge of the universities, the knowledge of the research and infrastructure of the research organizations, and the business angle. And we see that by bringing them together, they are able to design and provide services which can literally accompany potential innovators, ideas makers. They can accompany them to develop the idea, to create a concept, or even to go beyond. And so we land in the business creation services also to support in creating a startup or to support a startup to go beyond and accelerate their business. So the model is really to have all the knowledge and experience from universities until the business sector to literally accompany innovators again to develop their ideas. And beyond the services provided, as I said before, those KICs must keep in mind that the EU funds will not stand forever. They stay for a long period, usually is 15 years, but the EIT is asking the KICs to think about how they get financially sustainable from the very beginning, because the experience is that is by investing at the beginning of the operation of a KIC, you make the basis for the KIC to become financially sustainable in the long run. Next slide, please. Again, I go a bit more in detail. So on this financial stability concept, as I said, the KICs are set up for receiving usually an EIT funding for 15 years. This with all the caveats of multi-annual financial frameworks being in the middle, and also actually there are several evaluations in the running of a KIC to see that it is in the right path. So it's not that when a KIC is selected that it gets funding for 15 years, but this is the idea behind if things go in the right direction. And why this long period? Because the experience shows that to build a network of trusted partners, so partners that they get to know each other, they start to collaborate, and they create the necessary trust to then work together and make innovation happen. To build these trusted partnerships, it takes time. It takes some years, actually. And this is the avenue to get structural impact in the relevant sector where the KICS is operating. I will go into detail of the funding model of the KIC because it is a bit complicated. But the idea behind it is that why the KICs get fundings which are ramping up at the beginning of the KIC. They get a kind of maximum when the KICs get mature, and then the KICs funding decrease slowly to become zero at the end of the 15-year funding period. And also, in parallel to this, we call it bell-shaped funding of a KIC, there is also requirement for the KIC to slowly decrease the funding that rate that they put in their initiatives coming from the EIT, and to increase the funding they raise from other sources. All this complicated mechanism, but complicated but also written in the regulation. So nobody can escape from that. Is supervised by the EIT governing board, which is literally steering the KICs towards financial independence. We are now in a moment where we can also drive some lessons because, as I said, the 3 KICs started their operations in 2010. And so they have concluded a few months ago their cycle, their 15 years partnership with the EIT. And the EIT has done, as requested by the regulation, some final evaluation of the KICs, and we can drive some lessons about how those KICs have achieved the financial sustainability. Next slide, please. This is a print screen, really, copy-paste of the funding rates which are set up in the strategic innovation agenda of the EIT. You see, a bit complicated, but I recommend, if you want to understand the KIC, also to get into details of this funding model. So you see there is year one where some funds is given to literally set up the legal entity and to create the KIC, which again takes time because there is an establishment of the legal entity in a member state. A management team must be hired. The governance of this legal entity must be also set up. Usually, actually, all the KICs have a supervisory board, and then offices must be open all around Europe, as it is always already defined in the proposal that the consortium applying to the call is submitting. Then there is what we call the startup phase, which is in the first 4 years. The KIC receive funding agreed by the governing board, but the initiatives that the KIC is launching in the first 4 years can be funded up to 100% with EIT funds. So there is no need, or at least, I mean, there is an incentive, but for some activities, there is no need to attract other funds, even if it is strongly recommended. And some initiatives can be funded with all the EIT money. However, as of the 5th year until the 7th, this, which is called the ramp-up phase, this co-funding rate goes to up to 80%. So in this period, the KICs need to find further 20% of other funding from whatever source, being private or public, but they have to fund it beyond the EIT funds. From the 8th to the 11th year, this funding rate decreased to 70%, and then from the 12th until the 15th year, it goes from 50 until 20%, 10%, sorry, the last year. So this is pretty important to know, because if you associate this slide with the one I've shown before on different level of maturity of the kicks, you may easily see that, for example, EIT Culture and Creativity is in the startup phase, and they can fund 100% of their activities with EIT funds, while EIT Health and EIT Raw Materials are in the maturity phase. So it is a completely different set of rules, and EIT Health and EIT Raw Materials are more under pressure to support their initiatives also with other funding sources beyond the EIT. Next slide, please. Okay, let's go a bit into the details of the different activities run by the KICs, knowing that they have different strategies, different business models. So what is valuable for one KIC maybe is not valuable for the other KICs. But what you can see is that the KICs are, as regards education activities, are running different initiatives. And I would say the most visible one, I hope is also under the radar of the audience, is the EIT HEI initiative, Higher Education Institutions Initiative, which is aiming to boost, it is a capacity building action for higher education institutions to boost their innovation activities. And this was a pilot in the first 3 years of the operation of the EIT, but now, since it has been proven to be successful, it is continuing, and it is, I believe, a very interesting opportunity which complements well what the KICs are doing on innovation and business creation, also working on the entrepreneurial capacity of higher education institutions. We see also that every KIC is pretty active into education activities in their relevant sector. Usually they do by supporting masters, PhDs, but also non-degree education. There is a quality label called the EIT label, which is certifying that the relevant education program supported by the KIC as an entrepreneurial dimension, which we believe is important for this kind of training if we want that they create the innovators of the future. So very concretely, the KICs education activities are not only supporting a master or a PhD I'm thinking cybersecurity, I'm thinking artificial intelligence, but also energy or raw materials or mobility. But they add an entrepreneurial component in order that the students get the relevant information if they want to move as innovators after the graduation. There is also now more and more attention of the KICs also in upskilling and reskilling workforce. This is building on top of the positive, successful, let me say, experience of the European Battery Alliance Academy, where a couple of years ago, in the work of the European Battery Alliance, it was clear that there was a skill shortage in the battery sector, and the KIC InnoEnergy has set up very quickly an academy. It is a platform, but partnering heavily with the business sector, where they defined what was the skill shortage, where there was a need of upskilling and reskilling, and in less than 3 years, 100,000 workers have been upskilled and reskilled into the battery sector. This model has been so successful that the EIT has been requested to launch and to replicate the model with the Solar Photovoltaic Academy and the Raw Materials Academy and the Advanced Materials Academy, but we expect that further academies will come. And then, last but not least, the EIT has also other, we call them horizontal activities, so the KICs, they collaborated together. And let me mention a very successful initiative called Girls Go Circular, where the EIT has set up another platform, which is active in all the member states and approaching girls already at schools and they get some training into circular economy, but also recently we have extended to deep tech. And of course, the aim is to attract girls into these topics. Next slide, please. I'm gonna go out of time, so I'm gonna
You still have
speed up.
10 minutes.
But this is a catalog. I'm not gonna go into details. One can say, oh my God, I mean, each kick has several business creation services. Yes, again, this is coming from the model where each kick is running its strategy in the way that it fits best the sector where they operate. But let me say that the catalog is pretty long, and we see that innovators who are looking for business creation support in the sectors where the kicks are operating, they have a number of different opportunities. And in the right corner at the bottom, let me underline that beyond the services kick specific, there are also some horizontal services that we have seen are pretty popular and successful. And so the audience may also have a look to the Jumpstart, the Supernovas, which is for females entrepreneurs, but connected and experience and calling to scale. They are all initiatives that you can easily Google and see if they fit to the need you are looking for. Next slide. So this was the business creation catalog, but the kicks are going beyond business creation. They have also support to innovation, 360 degree. I don't go into the detail of each kick. Again, the programs are numerous, and you may have a look to the kick you are more interested in and check in detail what they're offering. There is a very nice innovation catalog, innovation guide, which you may look for. It is on the EIT website. It is called the EIT Innovation Guide, where all the innovation initiatives run by the different kicks are listed with some examples of the work and also success stories. It is a very well done report, which I really strongly recommend to have a look on it. Next slide, please. Okay, so those are the figures we always mention because we believe they are still pretty interesting. So let me start with the 2,420 leading partners. Those are all the partners of the kicks put together. So we come to, I would say, pretty big innovation ecosystem run by the EIT. We believe it is the biggest in Europe. And in terms of concrete deliverables, this network of partners created 2,450 new products or services. And the companies where the kicks have invested have attracted further 9.5 billion investment. I don't take all the merit of the kicks, but it shows how it is relevant also for investors to have a look on ventures where the kicks are keeping an eye. And in terms of place-based approach and being close to the ground, the kicks altogether have more than 70 offices with they're called hubs around Europe. Next slide, please. There is some recognition beyond what we say. We have seen that the EIT, for example, has been ranked number 10th in the World Startup Accelerator by CB Insight in 2023. Let me say that it was nice to see the EIT together with Google, Meta, and other very big players. But also the different kicks have been mentioned in when it comes to business acceleration services. For example, EIT Health with UB Global, urban mobility with deal room, energy in pitch box. So there is, we know this ranking depends on the criteria that are evaluated, but I mean, we see more and more, and we are happy to see that the KICS and the EIT regrouping all the KICS all together being mentioned when it comes to support to startups and when it comes to innovator. Next slide, please. Quickly, but a very relevant dimension of the EIT is also the so-called regional innovation scheme, which is focusing in regions with moderate and modest innovation score. And it is a scheme where the KICS have an incentive to pay attention in order to involve them in their activities and avoid that the KICS operate more in the most innovative parts of Europe. And this is done by an exception in the co-funding rate, which I was mentioning before. So the co-funding rate for the initiatives run by the KICS into the so-called risk regions can be up to 100%. We don't have, the EIT is not requiring. This is set in the regulation. The challenging sometimes co-funding rate when the activities are run into those regions, and we have seen that the budget allocated by the EIT on this kind of activities is from 10 to 50%. Next slide, please. Some figures very quickly, but you see because of this this incentive, there are 104 offices opened by the EIT and the KICS into risk areas, and we see an important number of partners. If you look at the share of the overall part of the KICS, so 1,185 are coming from the risk area, so it is more than half. And I don't go to all the details because I'm a bit late in the presentation, but you see that the figures also on granting, but also supported ventures are pretty important, and they show that this model is working well. Next slide, please. What is the Commission role in all this? The Commission is supervising the EIT, which is independent, but still the supervision is done through Commission opinion, which is adopted by the college on the EIT single programming document. What is the EIT single programming document? It is the work plan of the EIT. It is called in this way. So the EIT, contrary to an executive agency, draft its own single programming document, and the Commission provides an opinion on it, which is anyway binding. So the EIT has to adapt their draft to the Commission opinion and to get to a finalized version, which is agreed by us. And the supervision role of the Commission is also as being part of the governing board meetings as an observer. Actually, for some decisions, the role of the Commission goes beyond being just an observer, and the Commission has to express an opinion on the governing board decision. And of course, we supervise and we monitor the KIC. So all in all, in the respect of the different roles, we do our best to align the EIT and the KICs on political priorities. We facilitate synergies. I think the skills academies are a nice example. And we do our best, and this is also the reason why I'm here, to increase the visibility of the EIT and the KICs. Next slide, please. This is the last slide, and talking about aligning with Commission priorities, let me say that we have a nice example also in the recently adopted Union of Skills, where you may have seen that the EIT will equip 1 million learners by 2028 with the skills needed in strategic sectors, which is, of course, something building on top of the very positive experience on the Battery Alliance academies, but also the other academies I have expressed before. But also you may have seen that the EIT is mentioned with some actions of the STEM Education Strategic Plan, which is pretty nice to see, being the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, which is the T, and let me say also the E of STEM. And then there are those actions called the STEM Tech Talent Induction, but also this target to provide dedicated training and innovation, entrepreneurship, and IP management to 200 STEM higher education students, academics, and staff, again by 2028. And then I hope you know that the EIT has also delivered a lot on the new European Innovation Agenda and also on the Green Deal Industrial Plan when it comes to Critical Raw Materials Act, but also the Advanced Material Communication. I think I am almost on time.
Perfect, Luca, perfect.
So I stop here and I apologize if I ran.
This was absolutely perfect, Luca. Thank you very much. I hope that this also reminder and recall on the role of the EIT in the 15 years since its first launch of the first KIC group is now useful also because there is a big debate now about the future. Just a reminder to our audience, you have the possibility to challenge Luca by writing your name in the Q&A box that is under the screen. You see the little button Q&A. Just click on it and put your name if you want to challenge Luca and to ask him questions, clarification, or also future perspective in case you also would like to exploit the presence of the Commission here. Before opening the floor, while the people are writing their questions and their name in the Q&A, and they are starting already flowing the first questions. There is something that I know the EIT since the very beginning, because it's been one of the first dossiers that I followed when I started working in Brussels a long time ago. And I always liked the idea behind it. And according to your figures, I mean, the EIT have delivered a lot, creating also a lot of impact, which I suspect is not very visible and not very known. Today, the number you have shown are of definitive interest and looks really aligned with the new policies that the Commission is putting forward, the competitiveness vision, the need to increase innovation, are all ingredients that the KICs have shown to have contributed clearly. So why the hell, if I may say, there is this kind of idea about reducing it or closing it or reforming it? I mean, maybe we should correct it, but does it make sense to throw it away, given the level of building of communities that now are existing in Europe in sectors that are going to be also very important in the future? Once, above all, advanced materials or raw materials is going to be a priority, also mentioned in the competitiveness compass for the future. So it's very strange what is happening compared to the fact that we have invested for 50 years in building these communities that can somehow work and deliver innovation that is fully in line with the political vision of Europe.
Thank you very much.
Putting you in troubles?
No, you're not putting me in troubles. I mean, this is also the reason why I'm here, and I have been pretty active also in the past month. There is a knowledge gap on the EIT and the KICs. I don't know where it is coming from, but it is a fact that the EIT has experienced some criticism in the last month. There were some member states, and there are some member states and some stakeholders pretty critical. I have to say that those criticism was more kind of high level. So not really getting into figures, but more pointing complexity of the model, more pointing on lack of evidence on impact on the ground. Even if you go into all the figures I have shown out on the EIT website, but we know we are living in an area where there are a lot of information. So sometimes it's not only a matter of providing information, but also pushing it. where it is needed. But yes, it is what you said is true. It's true, and it is a pity. On the other hand, looking at the future, I don't escape this question, even if I cannot address it fully. But the relevant documents are public. The Commission came with a communication, the next multi-annual financial framework, where there is written that there will be a proposal on the next multi-annual financial framework and the new programs by this summer, and also came with this with the competitiveness compass, which is pretty interesting. And with those kind of two communications, the Commission has launched an open public consultation, which I think it is really what should be done now, where the Commission is looking for input. So thanks to this input, and they already provided in position papers that we have seen, will come with a proposal. What will happen, nobody knows. And of course, I am a bit biased, knowing the EIT very well. But we see that we are going to go into, also because the stakeholders are asking, into simplification and rationalization. And this is such a complicated exercise that it is hard to say what will happen with any of the instrument of the current multi-annual financial framework, not only the EIT.
I ask you another question which is related, and then we open the floor. Please remember that I will call your name. You will be asked to open your microphone and camera. I'm not reading questions, so this is why I'm asking you to write your name in the Q&A. What is interesting in what you say is that it confirms the impression that, let's say, okay, the EIT can be a complex system, and as you said, is the funding instrument that basically give money to the KICs, which are the tool that have delivered. We also know that some of the KICs have somehow worked properly, very successfully, some less. The question is, even if on one side I understand that the EIT is an independent body, on the other side the Commission is putting money on it. So somehow should have a voice. If you find an unperforming KIC, as of today, my impression is that you don't have too much hands-on in trying to correct it, rather than pushing the EIT to deliver on it. So basically, there is an intermediary role between the fact that you pay for something that you don't control. Mm-hmm. So does it make sense to think about reforming the system, also giving a bit more voice to the funder of the KICs to make sure that they remain the successful tool that in most of the cases have demonstrated to be? Somehow, I think that the Commission, through its super partes approach and the fact that puts money, can represent the element of guarantee of the quality of the output of the KIC, which today is not, because basically you are somehow intermediated by the EIT, which is doing an excellent job. But I'm wondering where we can find a compromise to make sure that the KICs can fulfill their full potential.
So, we are at the end of the multi-annual financial framework. I mean, we are going to the end of the multi-annual financial framework. So we have also to bear in mind that the current legal and financial framework of the KICs has been proposed by the Commission in 2019, and it has been then agreed in 2021. So at the time, there was not the knowledge of the EIT and the KICs that we have now. And trust me, I have a lot of ideas how to increase the model. But as always, if you go in a direction, you gain something and you may lose something else. So I have underlined it, and I can also explain now why I was underlining that each KIC has its own strategic agenda, its own management team, its own supervisory board, because this means that each KIC has also its own approach. And some criticism which needs to be addressed is that, for example, education institutions, but also research organizations, may find actually some voice the complexity from their perspective of interacting with 8 or 9 different models, which is, so the model is giving a lot of independence on the KICs to adapt the business model to the relevant sector, but there is, now this is creating a bit of an issue with relevant stakeholders as education institutions and research organizations. Also, I went into this very technical slide on the funding model to explain why, for example, so beyond the business model, there are some kicks which are really looking for other funding sources to run their initiatives more than the others. And understand a stakeholder which is not familiar with the funding model may find it a bit odd, but it is because of the different level of maturity. So replying to your question, on the role of the Commission, again, so it is a very, you have seen, it is a very specific model. And now the EIT Governing Board, which is composed by experts, high-level people representing business, education, and research, they are in charge of governing the EIT and steering the KICs into financial sustainability. Could the Commission do it better? I don't know. We have to look into it and see. Or maybe the Commission could have a different say on the strategic agenda, which is more political. There are different possibilities, but we are looking at the KICs with the eyes of now 2025, while the current legal framework has been designed, now 6 years ago. Huh? Okay.
Let's open the floor to our guests. The first one is Japan in Brussels. So,
okay.
Toshiyasu Ichoka, which is also a friend, Ichi. We are promoting you to a panelist, so be ready to open your microphone and camera and ask your question directly. Good afternoon, by the way.
Good afternoon. Do you hear me?
We hear you. We don't see you, but we hear you.
Oh, yeah, I don't have the video now.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the comprehensive presentation. My question is rather technical about the EIT funding model and to some extent flexibility of that. And do you anticipate the change of budget size of each KIC over time, which means that if the budget size or business size increases during the course of the evolution of a KIC, say that if their size became 10 times larger in the year 15, then the funding rate must be 10%. Do they receive the same amount of money as the beginning of the KIC?
So thank you very much for the question. The answer is that the funding model is not related to the overall business, I use in English, the chiffre d'affaires, the size of the business of the KIC, it is on the specific initiative. So one KIC being at the 11 year of operation with a co-funding rate of 70%. And they wanted to, they put in the business plan an initiative putting together education, business and research, and they have a budget of, I don't know, 200,000 euro, 2 million. 70% can be funded by the EIT, but the remaining 30% of this specific initiative must come from other funding sources, being KICs of money or funds provided by the partners, funding provided by the players of the initiative, or regional funds, whatever.
So is a somehow a path toward making them independent?
Yes. So we want, the idea is, we want them that slowly they continue to run initiatives, but with relying more and more on other sources.
Clear. Next one is Dominic Notter. So Dominic, be ready. We are going to open your microphone, and then you can challenge Luca with your question. just accept our invitation. There you are. Please introduce yourself, Dominic. Can you hear us? Open your microphone, you should be online. I suspect, yeah. We don't hear you. Probably there is, here you are.
Now,
now we see and hear you, Dominic. So please introduce yourself.
Thanks a lot for giving me the word. So first, thanks for a wonderful overview to EIT and its kicks. And as you mentioned, the 3 kicks which are now financially sustainable. I was wondering what is the legal status of these kicks now? According to the EIT newsletter, there was a partnership agreement which expired now, but has been replaced with a memorandum of cooperation. And what exactly is now the status of these 3 kicks in EIT and in Horizon Europe? With the memorandum of cooperation, are the kicks still considered to be officially an institutionalized partnership from EIT? Are the kicks still considered to be an official part of Horizon Europe?
Very good question. Thank you very much. It's pretty technical, but you may have seen it all started with the EIT regulation, where the possibility of continuing collaborating with these kicks is foreseen through a memorandum of cooperation. So, and the regulation states that it is possible for the EIT to continue to cooperate with these kicks based on a positive ex post evaluation, which has been done on these 3 kicks. This evaluation also was requested to identify non-financially sustainable activities which would be still in the EU interest and would deserve to be possibly further supported. So what's happened is that these 3 kicks went into a final report, which is available on the EIT website. And to summarize, the report was found out that the kicks are financially sustainable, meaning that they can continue to operate, and actually they are still there. So it is a matter of fact. However, some activities would have been discontinued because non-financially profitable. I mean, you can't expect that those kicks are continue to operate where they don't have the possibility to sustain them. And those type of activities, the report identified being education and skills activities, but also supporting early stage innovators. So based on this finding, the governing board decided, as there is this possibility in the EIT regulation, to sign with them a memorandum of cooperation, which is not a partnership agreement anymore. So the partnership agreement has ended. Those kicks are not into the partnership agreement anymore. However, they have still a cooperation with the EIT, which is letting them be part of the ecosystem to continue to collaborate with other kicks, for example. And also kicks found it valuable. I mean, they found that continuing to be part of the EIT ecosystem and to the EIT brand is giving them more opportunities when they operate. So they are part of the EIT ecosystem. They are not European partnerships anymore. They don't have a partnership agreement anymore. They are just into this cooperation, which, to be very open, doesn't give any substantial funding as they were getting before. Just to be very
clear.
It's
just a branding.
It's a branding, and the governing board decided to allocate I don't remember, it's 20 or 25 millions to a pilot call for educational skills activities, only for the skills.
That they can apply
You can apply.
because they can mobilize the community, so they have the
Exactly.
services in place. Okay.
And they can continue to cooperate with the others. That was also the added value.
Of course, you have communities in place, and it is of course complicated to just let them go. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, Dominic, I hope this answered your question. Thank you very much for being with us. We are approaching the end. I don't know if anyone have any extra question. Otherwise, we can try to take the question from the anonymous attendee, which is more like crystal ball. Anonymous is also someone that didn't want to show his face because it's a very uncomfortable question. And I think that you should need crystal ball to answer, but how do you think the FP10 will impact the EIT?
You wanted to ask me this question, huh?
But I didn't put it, I promise. It's not me.
I don't know. All the options are open, and this is really all I can say at the moment. And if anybody in the commission says something different, I mean, either they have the crystal ball or I don't know. But it's it's very hard to say because it is not the moment. At the moment, there are those communication which I mentioned again, the communication of the next multi-annual financial framework, the competitiveness compass, and now it is at the moment where the commission is consulting. So we have already all the position papers, we have already the report of the high-level group. We have our inputs, but thanks to this political direction given by the competitiveness compass, and then, I mean, I think that what the Commission has done in the first 100 days is impressive, with not only the competitiveness compass, the clean industrial deal, the union skills. So all this political communication should be put together, if I can recommend to the stakeholders, and then please apply to the open consultation, provide your input, and based on the input and the all discussions that colleagues and the commissioner are having, this will be then what is going to be used for the proposal of the commission for the future. And anything else at the moment is simply premature and just speculation.
So you see, the commission is looking also for suggestions. So we have the possibility as stakeholders, if you have good ideas or if you have a vision, or if you have, why not, even outstanding suggestions. I mean, the commission is going to take them seriously because I suspect that what is being built is a complex framework compared to the current one that we know. We know that the competitiveness compass is designing a system that is a bit different from the one we know today, or maybe we can ask to keep the one that we know today. I mean, it's up to us as stakeholder also to contribute in the huge debate. There is, if I remember correctly, open the consultation on the competitiveness compass. So this is a good moment to express your ideas and maybe add some extra detail, because normally a consultation is 4,000 words, but you can attach a document in the form of the position paper. And in this position paper, you can also comment on the future of the EIT. We can comment on the future of collaborative research, etc., etc. So we know Europe is a world where it seems difficult, but in reality, good ideas are taken into account. So please be active, because this is what in this moment I think we need. And good ideas are definitely welcome. Given this, thank you very much, Luca, for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been extremely interesting to refresh the memory on the EIT. One of my frustration is that I think is a very interesting and powerful tool, and I hope that at the end the KIC model will stay because of its potential. Of course, maybe it needs some correction, as we discussed, but let's hope that finally this tool that goes very in line with the current vision of the Commission toward innovation and skills would remain. We are preparing the appointment of April. The speaker for April still haven't answered, but we hope soon to announce the new appointment with one of Europe. Stay in touch with us. You are now, as you are registered, you are also part of our mailing list, so you will receive directly the invitation in your mailbox. For the rest, have a nice afternoon and of course a very nice week.